Jack, here we are in your private collection. How big of a collection do you have?
Roughly 200 cars.
Have you been collecting ever since you've been involved in racing?
The answer to that's no. Most of the early race cars I had, which were drag race cars, I sold them in order to be able to build the next race car for the next year to have an increasingly competitive program. And only decades later did I go back and find the person who had the car and leverage them, pry them loose, so that we've got several of our original race cars now. This car was the first car that I bought to restore. It was something I wasn't going to make a race car out of. It had an engine fire, and a fuel line had ruptured on it, and it was all crispy up front. And
so this was a total basket case, and you guys turned it into this. You guys do good work. And then Mark Martin.
1988, we went stock car racing, NASCAR style.
What were you thinking, right?
What was I thinking? And I know my partner, Bob Korn, at the time asked me when I told him we had some sponsorship from Stroh that was willing to support us, and that I found Mark Martin that would be happy to drive it, and that Ford Motor Company was going to give us a little support. And he knew that we were taking on something that was going to be a lifetime commitment. So this is a really special car, because without Mark Martin and without Stroh and without Ford and without what happened in 1988, we wouldn't be in stock car racing today.
How come you didn't really get into open wheel racing?
I've got two good answers for that. First of all, a man needs to know his limitations. And from the look that we had of all the sophisticated engineering that went into these cars, even these early days, I decided that it was a step away from what had been the basis of all my racing, which had been the automotive technologies that applied to cars on the road. So I guess the answer to that is I believe race cars have doors, and I didn't want race cars without doors.
Do you like where we're headed? There's a tricky time upon us right now, but there's a lot of good things happening in racing technology-wise. Are we going to have still great cars to drive on the road 5 years down? Cars
need to get progressively, increasingly more fuel efficient. We need to become more respectful of the environment over a period of time as a consumer gains an appreciation for it, and as the technologies become affordable. So I think that there'll be adequate time that when reason finally prevails, that the legislators and that the broader public will insist on giving us time to make these changes, to make the technologies affordable so that we can maintain the viability of our automobile business.